talk a lot about your guys' defense over the last couple of weeks, and you guys held them to 87 points. What do you think was attributed to how well you played that?
Just how locked in we were. I didn't say it before the game, but how we we came to shoot around today. Like these can be letdown games, and of course these guys are professionals, but sometimes there was no letdown defensively. Offensively, we weren't great, but defensively, really, really locked in. Guys did a heck of a job against a very aggressive team, plays in transition. We've had some problems with teams like this, so phenomenal job defensively.
Danny.
You talked earlier about, how indicative the start of the season is, and you mentioned identity. How do you describe this team's identity so far?
Oh, man. Connected is the word. I just it keeps coming back to me, and we're connected on both ends. We're connected in the locker room. It's like 1 through 18. We just have this kind of have this special chemistry, and I'm not saying that lightly. Like I'm not just some coaches. This is like true connectedness. True synergy. Across the roster, and that's obviously the talent is elite, but I think that's how you get off to one of these great starts. So that's the main thing that stands out to me.
And now, including tonight, the last 3 games, you guys have had pretty good defensive numbers after some slippage during November. What has changed on that end?
Nothing. We haven't really. I wish you could say, this is coaching. Wasn't coaching. We didn't really change anything. I think these guys have an awareness. That's part of their identity. Like from a strategic part, we're a good defensive team, having Dean Wade back tonight helps too. That's part of it. But didn't change anything strategic. It's probably more an awareness from our players. We have to pick it up a little.
You mentioned a little bit, could have been a letdown game, and it wasn't. Real workmanlike effort. 7 guys, double figures. 11 of 12 guys, score. Just what's to say about the balance? You mentioned that in pregame, how the way the roster's built, you can play in a variety of ways. But just what's to say about the balanced approach you guys had tonight?
I love your word. It was workmanlike. We worked for it, and we were serious about it. I think it. Again, I think it speaks to our best players. I've also seen in these games, your top guys, they kind of can go for theirs. We have none of that. Like, hey, it could be a letdown. We're playing maybe a team with a great record, and guys kind of play selfishly. We didn't play great offensively, but we shared the ball. To your point, everybody touched it. Everybody was involved. Again, that's a testament to our a mature team that knows who they are.
Donovan gets his shoulder banged, comes back in, and right away tests it, and were you tempted just to keep him out with the way things are?
Yeah, and I even said to Steve, our trainer, I said, man, if he's 50-50, let's keep him out. But he popped back. I looked next, and I said, "You want to go in?" He said, "Yeah." So, and I thought that was, we were struggling a little, and then he made those 2 big plays, right? The steal to the 3 was to kind of top it off. That was, and that, those things help, right? And then you can get your starters out a little earlier, get your bench some minutes. Like it seems like a little thing, but it was important for us to get our main guys off their legs and then get the bench in.
When you have 41 total foul calls, where do you find rhythm in that as an offense? It's got to be hard.
We fouled these guys the first game we played them, so they drive it, they're aggressive. It's still, you talk about defense improvement. We're still fouling too much on drives, then it's harder to score off a free throw than it is off a miss, right? So now free throw, now the game stopped. Now they get their defense set, the whole thing, and then it becomes a grind a little bit. So that takes us out of what we do best, and that's transition offense.
What did you see tonight from Sam, just playmaking and obviously getting off of those screens?
Man, I liked I liked that he was getting in the lane. Sometimes I think he gets caught up in like, I have to shoot a three, like no matter what. It's like, no, you can touch the paint, you can make a play, you can make a pass, and I think sometimes just three-only mentality leads to some questionable shots. So I think he found the right balance between taking the advantage, getting in the paint, making plays, and then shooting the open ones.
Hey Kenny, did you get tired of seeing your starting guards run into their big guy?
Man, Valanciunas he sets great screens. They're just punishing. We don't realize like this game is like, especially for guards with all the pick and rolls in the game. The force of the screens. It's tough. But that's the nature of the game. It's part of what you have to do as a perimeter player is take those hits and try to avoid them the best you can. But Valanciunas is one of the best screeners in the league. He got us a couple times tonight.
And then obviously you talked about Donovan leaving and coming back. Did you find out what actually happened? Did his shoulder pop out?
The guy said it was a stinger. The other players, so I guess stingers, you get hit and it's kind of like a football thing. It's painful and then it goes away. So I think that's what happened.
Kenny, what's your immediate level of concern on Darius?
I think he's fine. I could be. I just looked at him. He gave me the thumbs up, and I don't think he'll miss any time at all. I think he's fine.
And it seemed like an organizational decision to have Craig and Jalen play with the charge earlier this afternoon.
Yeah.
What was the thinking behind that? And were you hesitant to put those guys in the game tonight?
Yeah. I would just say, err on the side. I wanted those guys to. I really pushed it, and I talked to Kobe in the front office. Just I want those guys to play minutes. I didn't want them to play with us tonight and not play at all, right? And then it's a lose-lose. And then, in the charge game, they both played high minutes, so I was just a little cautious, right? And it wasn't when I wasn't going to play them, but it's like, man, let's be, everyone think, oh, they're young guys, they can just throw them out there, they can play, 5 games in a day. It's I don't look at it that way. So this is my personal decision. I was a little cautious, didn't want to run them big minutes tonight. So.
Kenny, you mentioned pregame that it's not the opponent, it's your guys' standard. How
Yeah.
you handle the game to game. Would you say you guys played up to your standard tonight?
Definitely. And I said how we approached the game, like the preparation for the game. Shoot around today was like if you would have walked in that gym, you would have think we were 500 ball club, serious, locked in. And you say, well, that's the way it should be. The natural thing in is sports, you're playing. Maybe a non-playoff team you let down, and we had none of that. I kind of knew we were gonna play well and locked in, and I loved how hard we played defensively. We were busting through screens and contesting shots. Real testament to the maturity of this team.
And for a team like Washington, they suffered a lot of injuries tonight, and I know they are the opposition, but do you ever feel a degree of empathy with just? You're up 31 at one point, and they're just kind of keep getting banged up.
I've been on that side. I think Brooklyn, the first year, we won 20 games. I think we lost 27 of 29. I could be wrong about that. So it's tough. And I will say this about Washington. I said it to our coaches 5 minutes. Those guys, they are playing really hard. Their compete level is 10 out of 10. So. And that's a little bit what you control when you have a young team like that. So, a lot of credit to them. We had a tough time scoring on him. They're doing a good job. It'll turn for them. It's just a long process. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.